An interview. If you could head back 5 years and meet your past self from 5 years ago, I'd have a little bit more hair, but what would you tell yourself about the automotive industry today? What's the one piece of advice you'd give yourself 5 years ago? Start with yourself, Phill.
I guess the piece of advice, there's lots of advice I'd give to myself, but I think from an automotive point of view, it's about being braver around embracing the change and the speed of it. So I think we put out a press release 8 years ago around, smartphones were going to take up more than 30% of our web traffic. And we thought that was a really bold claim at the time. And you know what? It's now 65% of the visits to our website. And actually orienting our organisation, and same thing for our customers, orienting our organisation around the future direction, and affording yourself the time to think about where that direction is going, and actually make those decisions now rather than living in the here and now, because those half steps absolutely prepare you for the future.
Yeah, you can plan too far ahead, can't you, really? That's a really good point. Yourself, Andy?
Yeah, very similar. Is be bolder. The speed of change is not going to slow down. And the things that we're seeing, we've even talked about some of them today, and I've said some of these things I think are going to happen quicker than people expect, because the status quo is a comfortable place, and the model that we have at the moment is a comfortable model. But we are seeing what's changing the industry is financing, and the way cars are purchased, or whether they are purchased at all, whether I'm just leasing it or etc. And the technology change which the consumer is driving, how we buy anything. If I buy a glass, I go and look at the reviews and check that other people are reassuring me that this isn't a stupid thing to buy, and then buying it through the phone probably. So that isn't going to change.
Yeah. Again, that's not something you could have foreseen 5 years ago, is it, at all? It's how it's evolved, which goes back to your point, actually. Phill. Neil?
I think what we've recognised now, but would have been good to recognise back then, is give the consumer more respect. We were probably 5 years ago still thinking we were in control of that process. We would control the consumer when they came onto our site. I think if we'd realised maybe a little earlier, then we'd have been a bit further down that track now.
Yeah, definitely. And Pontus?
Just from a personal perspective, I'd just gone through an MBA, and one of the interesting things at the time, 5 years ago, was that you get in touch with loads of people from other industries, so you hear about everything that goes on in parallel industries, and it makes you think about is there a better thing out there that one should be in, and are we missing out on something in the industry? And actually, looking back now, I would have said stay with it, because actually so much is going on in our industry now that catches up with other places, but also makes it an exciting place to be. So just stick with it.
I think it's really good advice. I think, like you've all said, really, it's not about looking too far ahead, is it? It's about living in the here and now and making best guesses. But as you say, sticking with it, no matter what challenges there are. And there are lots of challenges, but we haven't.